All right, back at it again with the cow, and as you guys can see, up on the list for another transmission R&R, which is something we've been doing way too much lately, but hey, it's just part of life at this point. So transmission's got to come out, got to rebuild, put a new band in there, all new clutches. Going to have pretty much new transmission front to back. Converter, this one is going to go back to get freshened up because we might use it on another application, but for this car, it will not be seeing this PTC converter ever again. Great converter, worked great with the 400, but not quite perfect for this setup. It was damaged. I think it got a little hot, and yeah, just a lot of converter slip, puts a lot of heat in these, and they don't like that. But if we come over here and take a look, these are the Motion Raceworks travel limiters that are installed on the car. As you see, working very good. This car used to drop the front end like a ton, and now it's only, you know, down about 2 inches or so from ride height. So these things are doing their job. I'm very, very interested to see how these work at the track on this setup. I know that they work for what they do, but I'm really interested to see what they're going to do for the car. If you look at it from this side, you can see when there's no weight on this pin will pull right out, and you'll be good to go. So really, really nice setup. You don't have to bring any tools at the track to make adjustments to this. Just pull the pin, go up and down your holes, and there you can do a little front end suspension tuning to the car. I've seen a lot of comments about people beefing about the Power Glide and the cow, and honestly, the reason why we are, I would say, to the eye look like we're struggling with the car is because it's a new setup. If you look at the number of passes that are on the car since we made the change to a Power Glide, not that much. And at the time when I made the switch from the 400 to the Power Glide, we had like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, probably like 200 or 300 I don't know. I can't even put a number on it. We had a number of passes on the car with a 400, so we knew what it was going to do. So we're still learning this. We're definitely heading in the right direction. We're getting more and more data on it, and we're making changes to go faster. We still have had a number of good hits on it with the Power Glide, and it flies when we get to stick. And we're going to be able to get to stick here more in the future. Having the right converter in there is going to make a huge change to it. That's going to be super beneficial to the leave. Really get the 60-foot times down, and then really help us just go flying out the back door. The whole reason why I went with the Power Glide in the car was for that consistency, for you know, being able to put more power into it and run faster times with less effort in the car, and it has done that. It shows that that's how it does work, but we just need to fine tune it down low, and then we know we'll get to work up on the big end. So the converter is going to be a huge help to that. So the guys that are Bruzy, Ryan, those guys there, they just got my converter back, so they're going to restall it, change it up a little bit, make it a little bit tighter, because the car is heavy. You know, all 4,000 pounds getting down track and trying to go as fast as we go is hell on a converter. And we think we're going to be right on the next one, if not very, very close. So fortunately with converters, that's what you do. You put them in there, you try it out. If it doesn't work, you take it out and you know, make a change to it and try it again. There's no set converter. There's not, this converter will work with this car. Now, the guys that are converter builders, they know the setup. They say this should be close, but there's no telling. Every car is a little bit different. So that's what we got going on. I'm gonna get to pulling it out, and I'll just walk you guys through the process of pulling this transmission out, just because when I'm doing the work, it's a little bit hard to film and do the work at the same time. So first thing that we do is come back here, undo the U-bolts here, and free up the drive shaft from the back. It will slide out with this drive shaft loop here. I know a lot of you guys say, man, that's so close, but an IRS car, the pinion angle and everything is fixed, so this drive shaft is not going to move. So it can, you know, that's how they are. They're off center in these cars from the factory. So pull the drive shaft down, and that's pretty much it. First, I'm going to drain the fluid out of it so we don't have to deal with it. It's pretty straightforward in this car. There's only 4 Bellhousing bolts on there, and there's these 4 bolts here for the trans cross member, and then converter bolts. Now, some of the other things that you have to do is you have to take the shift linkage off, and you got to take the trans cooler off on this side. Once you do that, you're pretty much good to go. It's pretty simple. So converter bolts, shift linkage, Bellhousing bolts, cooler lines, drive shaft out. Really not bad on this car. Having only 4 converter bolts, they're 1, 2, 3, 4. There's not one up top. It's no big deal at all. So it works pretty good, and I guess we'll get to it. So this car doesn't really do it too bad, but sometimes when you pull the yoke out, it's going to drip a ton of transmission fluid. So I just wanted to give some of you guys, you're at home about to pull the Power Glide out of your car and you don't know what you're about to get into. Just keep in mind, I like to throw a bucket just right here, just in case it's feeling a little sloppy today. Just in case, but other than that, we should be good to go. As you guys can see, we got the strange billet yoke right there. Love that. All the strange yokes are absolutely badass. This one, it has a brass bearing That one I believe is a roller bearing, so 2 different yokes. You make sure you get the right one for your power glide, but we'll rip this guy out and then we'll be pretty much done with that part. So because the transmission is going to get rebuilt, I'm going to drain the fluid out of it now. Sometimes I'll take it out to like do a converter change, I'll just leave the fluid in it. But it doesn't really drip too much out of the back the way the car is on the lift. It's not tipped back real far. So we're going to get that out right now and drain all the fluid out. And then got the shift linkage undone already. And we're just plugging right along. You can tell right out the gate on this one that the band is smoked. If you look at so I just put brand new high guard in there, and it's got a little magnet on the end of this. I don't know if you guys will be able to tell. See that color? It's pretty metallic. You can also see on here, I mean, it's not supposed to be black like that. Generally, if the band doesn't go out, it'll just retain its kind of like almost oily color. But the band was on its way out. We did change the fluid for that reason when we took it out, and we knew that it was going to have some issues, but we were hoping it would live. And it's kind of one of those things. Transmissions are weird. Sometimes you just gotta put it in there and it'll live forever, and other times it won't. So that is telltale sign. It's the band. It's got a bunch of material all over it. Fluid's black. It's lived its life. Not even upset. Just rebuild it and put it back in there, and it'll live for another 150 or 200 passes or 4,000 or however many it wants to live for. Alright, we got the shift linkage off. We got the bolts put back in there, and now we're going after the converter bolts, which are kind of a pain in the ass. So as you can see, starter off, you gotta stick some wrenches in there. This one is not threaded, so it does have a bolt on the back side, but kind of the biggest pain in the ass. It just takes a lot of time. You gotta rotate it through, and I know we don't have a flex plate tool, but everyone settle down. It's okay, we can do it with a pry bar. So you just gotta rotate it. This just takes some time, but I don't mind it because it saves me from the next part, which is total pain in the ass. Alright, got the converter bolts out, and as you guys can see, the converter is free. Oh, that's so nice. So now we are left with pretty much 8 bolts left, and the trans cooler line and the trans brake. So we got these 4 here. It's going to drop the rear trans cross member, the 2 bolts on each side, and then you got these 2 fittings here for the transmission fluid cooler, and then the trans brake is wired up back there. As you can see, it goes up into the passenger compartment. So trans brake we undo and we just zip tie it up here, and that stays with the car, and the transmission will be coming out here shortly. Alright, so after a 17-day struggle, finally got the cooler lines off. As you guys can see, they sit right up here, so they're pretty tough to get at, but Phil came in big with the stubby 18, and since we got you over here, let's talk for a second.
Oh god.
I got some news today from the Black Built Performance side of the shop that some changes were going to be made to the Z, and that Donk Master, the G, the Z, the ABC, it's all the same at this point. But the real point we're getting to here is Donk Master's getting the gap.
Yeah.
He's going to see the taillights.
Yeah.
So all this means we're going auto.
We're going auto.
We're going, dude, it only took a couple of weeks. Like, I figured it'd be a lot harder to break than that, but you know what it was? It was that one ride in the cow that got you.
Ride in the cow. I did a lot of thinking, and since I'm putting that 4-door together, then I might as well just put the T56 in that car.
Okay.
And make this car competitive.
I hear you. So we might be seeing a auto swap on the G, not the Z.
Yeah.
That'll be on the LS Nasty YouTube channel.
Yep.
So we're gonna strap a GoPro on your head, and you're just gonna talk us through the whole auto swap.
Auto swap.
Put a glide in there, you can be hauling ass.
Manual to auto.
Yeah, going fast, finally. Hell yeah. Alright, well, got the cooler lines down, so I need to cut all the wires and everything that's all tied up to the transmission cross member, then take the trans brake out, and then at that point, we will start removing the bell housing bolts and get a jack stand underneath that transmission stand, transmission jack, whatever y'all call them, and start getting everything tied up and out of the way for the transmission to come down. So generally, like at this point, once I cut everything off and start pulling the bolts out of the bell housing, I get Ben to help me so I don't drop this thing. But I think we're gonna just free ball it today and see how we could do. Hopefully the reed case stays in one piece. But yeah, we're making progress slowly but surely. All right, in the process of getting these bolts out, here's one. As you can see, the second one's right up top, so we got a 12 point in here, and then just your standard 15 mil up there. And these things were on there tight. Just got one broken free, but good God, it's tough to get in there. You know, just typical streetcar problems. Race car, removable trans tunnel, no big deal. But this thing, it's kind of a pain in the ass. So we are plugging right along here and getting them out.
This is why.
Alright, here.
Alright, here. Here, use this one.
I was like, just don't even say nothing, you get it. Watch it crack and the whole thing falls to the ground. You know what? I had to tag him. I was stuck.
This is why.
Alright, don't take it all the way out. I gotta put it on this. You're leaving that whole contraption with me right here.
No, I need this.
No,
I need the wrench.
Yeah, I think I did good on this foot.
Last time we had stuff away from the whole base.
Full progress. All right, I had to call backup. Phil to the rescue.
As always.
You know, I was.
It's like I'm a black version of Ben.
I got two bolts were killing me, dude. They're absolutely killing me. I couldn't get it done.
It's alright, man.
So
we know it's not a MacBook Pro. Alright.
Well, thank you for your help. What do you think about your future style of transmission?
I mean, this would be a whole lot easier to swap out, you know, and maintain than my 6-speed. Because my Magnum, you think you had a hard time with this? Like, I know what I'm doing, and I have a hard time putting that thing in.
Yeah, no, I mean, this isn't enjoyable to me, but it's work, so.
This is a whole lot easier.
What do you have to say to everyone at home that says I don't work on my cars?
I mean, he does work on it in some way. He struggles, but he does.
I get it done. Hey, look it. Minus the 2 bolts that you took out, I did this all myself.
Yeah, pretty much. It took him all day to do it. About 6 hours. If you got paid to do this on the clock, like, I would fire you.
That's why I don't, but I literally just got done telling the people, I'm like, yeah, we just unattach this from the transmission and leave it in the car, and I just cut it.
Yeah.
You know, some things.
If I would have knew that, I would have never cut it. But
I mean, it's all right.
it's okay.
It's okay.
I mean, we're only running out of wire. How much is one of these solenoids?
They're married to the valve body. So, you know, it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, transmission's out. I do work on my own stuff, so for all the other YouTubers that don't, tell them they could suck it right now.
Nah, I can't say that.
Tell them I got one up on them.
Yeah, you got one up on them.
That's what I like to hear. And I'll bust their ass too. Equal opportunity YouTuber. Any way you want it, you can get it. We could do a build off now. I mean, shit. I think me, you, and Ben doing a build off in like a 10-day build off would be pretty dope.
Yeah, it would. We'd know yours would never get done because you'll have to.
No, I'm saying we're all on a team.
Oh.
Are you kidding me? I'd have Brazel over here for 10 days.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, man. All right, power glide's out. Next will be the rebuild. Hey, Phil, help me get it off this thing first.
All right.
And then we're good. And I'll quit bugging you. Then you can put the hippo back on the lift.
Oh my God, it's so light.
All right, guys, there you have it. Transmission out of the Cow. We'll be getting a rebuild here shortly, and okay, you got the two power glides just chilling over there. But yeah, I almost did it all by myself, but thankfully Phil came in and saved me about an hour of struggling on 2 bolts and did it in like 2 minutes. So now I know I'm gonna do it that fast next time. So that's gonna wrap up today's video. Pretty much all that we have going on here, and yeah, I hope to see you guys in tomorrow's upload, but we're gonna rebuild this transmission, and I think we might go watch some pro mods tomorrow. Ain't no telling, do some racing, maybe ride around the Hippo. There's no telling what we will do tomorrow, so be sure to stop in, check out what's going on. Be sure to subscribe to the LS Nasty YouTube channel. It's the first link in the description below. The second link is the LS Nasty merch store, where you can go and pick up all your LS Nasty gear, Cowmaro shirts, salted chicken shirts. We got some new shirts coming out here shortly. American flag shirts are hot fire right now, along with the hats. Get them before the 4th of July. Other than that, that's going to be all for today's video. We'll see you guys in tomorrow's upload.